We will talk about this mob mentality and police brutality in greater detail, but our top focus story here on India Today, the discovery that has alarmed police forces and intelligence agencies after the Gurdaspur terror attack. The Pakistani terrorists, the three Pakistani terrorists who struck at Gurdaspur, were found to have brought with them a 51mm mortar. And this is very strange because this is an area attack weapon, a mortar carried by terrorists. This has not been found with terrorists in this part of the country ever before. The recovery of a 60mm mortar from three terrorists who struck at the Dinanagar police station on the 27th of July is baffling and unnerving, given that mortar is a ranged weapon effectively used by security forces like the BSF or the army when the distances are much greater to cause extensive damage over a considerable area. Now, top officials India Today spoke to said it's extremely strange that terrorists who attacked a police station would actually haul a 10 kg mortar for over 20 kilometers from the international border into Dinanagar if it did not have any tactical utility. And I want to quickly bring in India Today's Deputy Editor Sandeep Unnithan for more on this. Sandeep, this is extremely strange. This is also extremely scary that terrorists would be carrying 60mm mortars. This is a military weapon for area destruction. I will try and get to Sandeep Unnithan in just a while from now, but these are pictures of that encounter. Three terrorists that crossed over from Pakistan from a place called Tash along the international border. They crossed the Ravi River despite the river being in spate. Then they walked to the roadhead, which is a good 10 to 12 kilometers away. There they stopped a Maruti 800. They sprayed bullets on a bus. The brave bus driver took the bus to a police station and then to a hospital. But why were these terrorists carrying that picture you see on your television screen, a 60mm mortar? Sandeep Unnithan, my colleague, joins me with the latest. Sandeep, what are your sources telling you?
Oh, is this for me?
Yes, Sandeep, what are your sources telling you?
Well, the recovery of this mortar is very interesting and intriguing because this is normally a weapon used by armies and... sorry. One second.
We're trying to re-establish that line with India Today's Deputy Editor Sandeep Unnithan. We will just take a minute with this, but these are pictures you see. This was an operation that was carried out by the Punjab police, a brilliant tactical operation, but this has a very strategic connotation. One, Pakistan has taken terror out of Jammu and Kashmir once again. It's taken it into mainland Punjab, where it had tried to foment trouble across the 1980s, and that was a very scary stage. KPS Gill had then fought back and defeated Pakistan-backed terrorists, but once again, Pakistani terrorists backing terror. Three Pakistani terrorists crossed over from Tash. The picture you see on your television screen is extremely scary. A 60mm mortar found from inside that police station. These are the barracks where the Home Guard was staying. Three Home Guard were killed in that operation. Sandeep Unnithan telling us more about where this 60mm mortar was found and the connotation. If you recall, a couple of days ago on the railway track, you also had 5 other 61mm mortars, their shells being found. The army, of course, came and recovered that. They reportedly belonged to a Navy facility. We will try and re-establish line with Sandeep Unnithan in just a moment to get you more on this big breaking story. We're returning to our top focus story here on India Today, the recovery of 60mm mortar in Punjab, in Gurdaspur, from that building where three Pakistani terrorists were holed up for 11 hours engaging the security forces. India Today's Deputy Editor Sandeep Unnithan joins me with the latest on that story. Sandeep, tell us more. Did the terrorists cross over the IB carrying this 60 mortar, or did they have local support?
Well, Gaurav, it's hard to say at the moment, but what our sources are telling us is that this mortar was recovered from the building where the terrorists were holed up and when they were finally eliminated. And it's extremely unusual for a weapon of this sort to be recovered from terrorists. There has been no recent precedent, at least, of this kind of a weapon being recovered from terrorists. They're usually armed with assault rifles and UBGLs, grenade launchers, but never a mortar. So this is extremely unusual, and it possibly points to there being another aspect to this whole plot, because as you know...
It indeed does. And what is very strange in this case, Sandeep,
yes,
a mortar inside a building, it could not even be fired, and they had only one round. So
that's right.
Were they saving this for another occasion? Were they saving this for another target? Did they want to enter this part of Hiranagar police station, Dinanagar police station? Or were they trapped in here when the police retaliated when 3 Home Guard went down?
Well, absolutely, Gaurav. I mean, the fact is that this mortar cannot be used from inside a building. As you know, it's an indirect fire weapon, which means that it goes in a semicircular arch. It has a trajectory. It cannot be fired from inside a building. So it clearly points to the fact that they were possibly not headed for the police station. They were heading for some other place where they intended to use this weapon. Because let's not forget that Dinanagar is about 20 kilometers from the international boundary. And for terrorists to carry a weapon this heavy, it's almost 10 kilos, to carry a weapon this big from the international border all the way to this Dinanagar obviously points to some other larger conspiracy which is yet to be established.
And that is that big story, terrorists carrying 60 mortars. Now, we must tell our viewers at this stage, how does a mortar fire? Now, mortar is an area destruction weapon. It's a long tube, 10 kgs is the weight of a 60 mortar. It is an indirect fire weapon. It fires on a trajectory, does not fire straight like a bullet. Those are visuals. That is how a mortar fires. This is how security forces, especially the army and the BSF, use a mortar. A long tube, you just put the shell inside, it automatically fires and goes up to a distance not very far but very high. An airburst mortar causes immense damage. It can kill any number of people, between the number of people who are there, with shrapnel falling from the skies. And Sandeep, terrorists using mortars is unheard of, especially in this part of the country.
That's correct, Gaurav. As you know, these mortars are being used by Pakistan to target our forces on the line of control and on the international border. So it's extremely unusual for this to be found in the hands of terrorists. And as we know, the 61 mortar is the one that's used by the Pakistan armed forces. They're not used by either the army or the BSF. So it very clearly points to Pakistani origin.
A very interesting point, Sandeep. We will continue to talk about this in greater detail. The Indian Army uses 61 and 82 mortars, not this 60 This is used by the Pakistan Army. Now, did this particular device have Pakistan Army markings? We will get you more.